Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Coffee with Carl. My name is Carl Zellner. I'm managing attorney for Anderson Business Advisors, and I wanted to continue along today with our infinity investing journey. So, y'all have been those who have been following me around with the my 1,000 shares of AT&T stock. I wanted to give everybody an update there. Let's see. So basically where we left off was at the last time I did a call on that June 7th for June 17th, $20 call. Because let's see, I got to remember some of this stuff. My basis or my purchase price on that AT&T stock was, let's see, was $19.77 and a couple fractions of some cents there. So by putting it at the $20 call, I would have made, if somebody did call me out of that stock, I would have made what, 23-ish cents per share, which is fine. And I also collected the premium for basically renting out that stock. So if we go and see what that was, nobody called me out, so there was no additional pay there, but I still had that 1,000 shares of stock. So what I did was I wrote another call for that 1,000 shares at 76 cents. So minus, I think there's like a $4.95 commission, got me another $754.86 for renting out my stock again until September 16th, when we'll see if somebody purchases it or if it expires worthless again. Either way, just to reiterate for everybody, I get to keep this amount. So that's pretty low, low risk, because if somebody does buy it, they buy it at $20. So I make 23 cents a share off 1,000 shares anyways. So I make a little money there if they execute it. But ultimately, this is basically rent to be able to do that. So I like it, especially during this time. If you sort of look at the dates on here, you can see basically this is today, the day that I'm recording here. The stock market's been wild and people have been getting absolutely hammered. So doing this, I'm still green. Let's open it up. I think about 90 is probably gives you more of the idea. So some zero stuff, right? Like I said, nobody bought my stock at $20. So that's a zero. Everything else is green. So it may not be, a sexy $100,000 day or something like that, but it's consistent. It's number two is it's in my Roth account, as you can see. So I'm just sort of chugging along, making money here. And then sort of the most difficult part, for me at least, of the infinity investing stuff is you don't look at the account value because it doesn't really matter. I choose when and what I sell my stock for. So even though the market was a little bit up and down, today's Saturday, so it would have been Friday, and my account's down a little bit. Doesn't matter because I'm not selling any of my stock in my Roth account unless it's for a price I'm willing to sell it for, and I'm still renting it along the way. So, like I said, let's go to that transactions page again and look on there, right? There's no sales in here, at least as far as and you'll also see here with AT&T, one of the reasons I chose AT&T to do the infinity vesting piece, because I still get a dividend along the way too. So I'm holding these things from dividend period through dividend period and then renting them out for a pretty decent value. So I'm making money along the way, and I've yet to sell the stock on here. So like I said, for me, it works. I like it. Ultimately, there really shouldn't be anything on this page that's not green, because we're not chasing trends here. We're just looking for dividend paying stocks that have a reasonable premium to rent them out. You rent them out, you collect your dividend, rent them out, collect your dividend, so on and so forth until somebody sort of calls you out of your position. And then if you go back to, I believe the first video, I showed you how to do a put to get back in if you want to get back into that same stock, where you get basically that same type of premium until you're put into that stock, and then you just rinse and repeat. So hoping people are liking this series just because it's a little bit more, I don't know. Most traders aren't super interested in showing you their account. This is, like I said, it's my Roth IRA, so it's a small account. I don't mind being a little bit transparent. And like I said, if something goes terribly wrong, I'll show you that too. But like I said, with this is pretty conservative, even in a wild stock market time. When I started these videos, I didn't know the stock market was going to be sort of whipsawing all over the place. But this has been pretty steady for me. I've been doing it now for 3 or 4 years and had some pretty good success. I would imagine by the end of the year this year, I will probably, using Infinity techniques, probably outperform a lot of portfolio managers. So works for me. I don't have to pay a portfolio manager to manage it. Takes me, I don't know, 10 minutes whenever those calls expire to sort of pick where I want, where the premium's best and where I want to do that. And then from there, that's it. So, 5-10 minutes on a Monday after the calls always expire on a Friday. So after they expire on a Friday, go back in Monday, buy up or write another call or do another put. Like I said, it takes probably 5-10 minutes and, $754 in 5-10 minutes isn't that big of a deal. Yes, there's the time value of money, but my time is also valuable in that I don't have a lot of time to be doing that because I would do my day job at Anderson. So I need something that's quick that I can do in the morning. I'm still making money on that I'm not having to service. So that's why I like Infinity Investing. So hopefully you've enjoyed this Infinity Investing series. I will keep going with this string of videos until I get called out of that position or until we finish, or maybe I'll even do an end of year update just to show you the overall portfolio investment. But in the interim, please remember, if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe. It tells us you like the content we're doing or you want to see more of it. So make sure you like, subscribe. If you have comments, I actually have the attorneys will actually reply to your comments if you have questions. So I appreciate you stopping by. Hopefully like I said, this Infinity stuff is nice, especially since I know the market's been really crazy here. The last, a few weeks. We're probably coming up on a month now. And like I said, for me, slow and steady wins the race, and I'm not concerned about the up and down because ultimately, like I said, I choose when I sell. If I hold it, fine. I'll get my dividends, which is good for me. And ultimately, when I write new calls, I can get a decent little premium. And so I'm just sort of chugging along, and I choose when I sell. Like I said, if I get called out of this position, I get called out of it at $20. My basis in the stock is 19 and some change, so that's still a profit there. So I don't know. I guess for me, the risk is really low, or feels really relatively low. Some people do this more aggressively. They'll go in and check the value of these calls and sort of buy them back along the way. If the value dips and then redo it, you can do that 100%. Like I said, for me, and what works for me is a few minutes if I need to re-up and make a little money. Otherwise, I like being hands-off because, quite frankly, I just don't have the bandwidth to be consistently managing my portfolio during the work week. All right, with that, thank you all for joining me for another episode of Coffee with Carl. If you like I said, like and subscribe, tell a friend, do all that good stuff. And then we will catch you on the next episode. Thanks, everyone.